Well, hi there, everybody. I am coming on live with you just a couple of minutes early, just so that we can do a little pre-party. I thought it'd be fun to do a pre-party to say, to see who watched the Muppets tonight before 9 o'clock. That's all I want to know. Anybody watched the Muppets? No. While we're waiting for people to come on and join us at 9 o'clock for our live strategy session. Hey there, Matt. Good to see you. I had to ask that really important question. Did anybody catch the Muppets tonight? So I'd love to know what you think. You know, they're a classic, and they're messing with the classic formula. So you know how we are. We all like our formulas. Oh, no, what happened? No, it's, the new Muppet Show is all about Miss Piggy having a late night talk show, and she and Kermit have broken up. So there's a lot of the Office dynamic kind of going on in the behind the scenes. It's really different. So I'm not sure yet. I watched it with my daughter thinking, I know, right? Traditionalist, I get it. I watched it with my daughter and she was laughing and I said, do you understand it? She said, no, I don't understand this at all, but that's why I'm laughing. So maybe for the next generation, that's how they'll remember the Muppets. I don't know. All right, so why don't we go ahead and get started? Is it for kids or adults? It actually can kind of go both ways. It's funny. It still retains that characteristic of the core Muppets where it's, funny for kids and there is this whole puppetry aspect, but definitely some of the one-liners are like, shoom, way over the kid's head and really more for adults. So nothing that you could not watch with your children though. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with our broadcast tonight. I'm actually going to share with you a strategy that I think will be really helpful for you. It's called expanding sentences. So this is actually traditionally a reading strategy that teachers will use that when, your students write a sentence like, the dog sits down, right? They typically write short sentences to start. And so teachers will ask them, okay, add one more descriptive word like the big dog sits down. And then the next time have them take that same sentence and add one more piece to it. The big brown dog sits down. So this is actually a great strategy to use with the arts if you're working within an art form. So if your students are starting with the idea of line and you have them doing, ask them to do a zigzag line or a curved line, you can actually have them, they'll start short. They'll start very basic and then ask them to add one more piece to it. Can you add a little bit of texture to that line? Could you add maybe a little bit of color to that line to extend that a little bit? So if we're thinking about the artwork itself as a series of sentences, you add one more piece to each to kind of embellish it without taking it too far. Because there is that fine line between, the big brown dog sits down and the big brown dog sits down, takes a nap and then goes off, that run-on sentence, And the same is true for the arts. So there is that experimentation piece that goes with it. So you could certainly do it with visual art. Another great one to do it with is music. So if you start with a rhythmic pattern, a basic rhythmic pattern, and then ask them to try it with an instrument now, or layer a variety of instruments with it. There's that capability as well. Theater is fantastic for this because you can use it with improvisation. So you're starting with one sentence and then maybe somebody else in the group adds something to that sentence and another person adds a whole different energy dynamic to it. The same is true for dance. So what I love about this strategy is that it's really versatile. You could use it in the arts classroom as a kind of way to warm up your students and get them thinking along those lines and extending their reach a little bit. But it's also really great for the classroom when you're trying to find a way to hook in the arts in the beginning and you have your standard that you want to align, but you're not really sure how to get started or where the pivot point is. this is a strategy that can work with that because it allows you to explore any of those arts areas in a really easy way that doesn't make you feel nervous if you're a classroom teacher. So that's why I really like it. And so next week for our PD on Periscope for next week, I'm actually going to talk with you a little bit, and it's going to be a little bit longer than normal. Not much. It's like 15 minutes instead of 10. But I'm going to actually walk you through that juncture point, that pivot point of your lesson, that when you're doing an arts integrated lesson, how do you hook in the other content area really naturally without it feeling like a hard break or without it becoming this sloppy mess? We're going to talk about that next week. And in anticipation of the big online live webinar that we're putting on next Wednesday. So if you haven't checked that out, really simple, educationcloset.com/workshop, and you'll find it. It's free and you get 1.5 PD hours to attend. And I'm giving you the exact steps that you need to be able to implement, to create, implement, and assess an arts integrated lesson in 1 week. So you're not going to want to miss that. And in anticipation of that for next week, I'm going to give you some super secret tips that I have for that. Thank you, Sean, for sharing that out. Yes, educationcloset.com/workshop. And I'm telling you, it is jam-packed. I've got it already created, and I can't wait to deliver it for you because I'm offering you the sequence that I use that guarantees success every single time and saves you time. So I hope that this strategy tonight, this expanding sentences strategy, has got you thinking about some ways that you could use it. If you're thinking of some of those ways, let me know. Put them in the comments. Let's see what you're thinking, how you might be able to use those expanding sentences with the arts. Sharing with my staff. Yay! I love you, Sean. That's awesome. I'm telling you, something like this kind of a strategy makes it so easy to integrate the arts without fear. That's one of the big boundaries we have, is this whole fear piece, and it doesn't have to be scary. So I hope tonight's strategy was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you again next week, next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a wonderful week, everybody. And by the way, before I head off, make sure that if you're not on Twitter yet, you get on Twitter and you join the Ed Chat, or the Ed Beat chat tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You will not regret it. It's such a powerful, positive chat that you're going to want to participate in. EdBeat. And then if you're an arts educator, you got to get on K-12 Art Chat on Thursday night at, remind me of this, Matt, I think it's at 9:30 Eastern Time, 8:30 Central. So be sure to be connecting with your PLNs and sharing the love with all the educators so that we can all grow together. All right, everybody, have a wonderful week. Talk to you soon. Bye.